Hey everyone, and welcome back to Shaun Dunn 3D Studio. And we're going to get started where we kind of left off on the last live stream. We're working on John's bed from a project that is taking a nursery from the film Peter Pan, Walt Disney's Peter Pan, and then making it into a 3D model and putting it into Unreal. So we worked on John's bed. There's Wendy, John, and Michael's beds and belongings in the nursery. So we worked on John's, and we can see that here in Unreal. And if I just go ahead and grab this, it looks fantastic. It really looks like the reference and fits in great scale. So really happy with how that turned out so far. We've got the room built. We've got this little side table here, and then we've got John's bed. So today we're going to work on Michael's bed. Let me just pull up the reference real quick here and go to here we go. Reference of Michael's bed. So here's John's bed here on the left, and the two characters are, goofing around on it. And Michael's bed is here on the right. So it's pretty similar in shape. There's a little bit of difference. As a matter of fact, I think I thought that this piece here was also here on Michael's bed in other images, but it looks like it is different, the backboard. So that's just fine. We'll just create a new backboard, but some of these other pieces, perhaps we can use them again. Maybe this piece here. We can use the panels here that we created. So maybe a little bit of things that we can reuse, which is always nice. But if you take a look, John's bed here has just the opening, whereas Michael's has this fabric covering down. So we may not even need to create this board. And if I just go to Maya, I can show you what I'm talking about here. This board right here, because it's really in the reference covered, and I don't see it's I went through the whole sequence of the film Peter Pan in the whole scene where they're in the nursery. I didn't really catch a lot of Michael's bed, and so I just screen captured some of the ones that really came out, and I don't recall anything beyond what these three look like. So I'm going to use these as the starting point. We're going to dive into this and just start kind of tearing apart John's bed and try to reuse what we can. It doesn't look like there's a lot, but let's take a look. So yeah, let's get started. And here we go. All right, so John's bed right now, it's all combined. Let's go ahead and I've got this set as a new scene, so I don't have to worry about it, ruining the other model that I have for John's bed. So we might be able, if we look at the reference, we could reuse this blanket on here. I tend to like to get unique models, and so I may just go back into Marvelous Designer and just kind of mess this up, because I've already got this blanket created in Marvelous Designer, as well as the pillow. And so I can actually just go into Marvelous Designer and kind of mess things up a little bit. But anyway, let's get rid of this and get rid of the pillow. I'm just going to delete everything that I don't need right now. And I think the mattress is good But if I recall, it was slightly smaller. Michael's bed was slightly smaller. So we can scale these things, but I'm just gonna hide the mattress. I'm gonna get rid of these, and these look pretty similar, these shapes here. A little bit, this almost looks like it's kind of squared right here. It's like one hard edge, then kind of a rounded corner, then another hard edge, and then it's kind of this almost pyramid with a little bit of radius happening, and then going into this sphere. So it is a little bit different. I think it would be fun to kind of deviate from this. This one down here, it looks pretty similar to me. So I might just reuse that one. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but it almost looks like what I just said. And also it could be rounded. So it's kind of up to us how we want to tackle that. Let's take a look at this. This one is more clear, actually. Slightly, maybe slightly different. So I'm gonna kind of figure out how I want to do that, but it's similar. This is more of a ball shape. It's less squished, and this one is more squished and kind of larger in diameter. So kind of change that. And looking at the baseboard here, so here's the back, the headboard, a little bit different there too, so I can't reuse that. So there is a panel here, might be able to use that. So let's get rid of all of this. We only need one, and let's get rid of that, and that. And let's bring the reference up a little bit more. And let's work on this right here. All right, let's bring that out a little bit more. Okay. So, and by the way, last stream, I had a technical difficulty, like a major problem, and I ended up losing that stream. And so I apologize that if some of you watched that and it's not available. I'm pretty bummed that I lost that, but this is kind of a new process for me, so I'm trying to pull, you know, everything together. I've created this pretty awesome theme. I hope you like it. And I've added a chat feature up here. So if you folks do chat, hopefully I'll be able to catch that. I'll take a look at my other monitor periodically. And I've got some music going, so hopefully it's nice for you all as well. Let's make this a fun, happy, and comfortable environment just to learn and just, you know, do fun 3D stuff. So that's what it's about. So let's go back here and start thinking about this. So, you know, we could maybe use some of this, but I think we're going to get rid of that. And probably all of this, really. I'm going to get rid of some of the edge loops here, and we can adjust that a little bit. Okay, frame up on that. Let's grab the edge, pull her down, and I'm going to add an edge loop. And let's kind of bring it out a little bit. I do want to have this one over here to compare, so I'm going to duplicate this, because remember, we want it a little bit larger. And I'm actually, what I'm going to do is just take the pivot point, center it, frame up, Just get this thing like smack dab on the other and then just pull it over. So we can just see it side by side. Let's do it right there. So that way in orthographic view, we can see how much larger this is. All right, so I guess I'll just clear the transforms. And let's go into orthographic view. And could go here. And there we go. I'm gonna turn on the shading here. And we can even turn on wireframe. So we're like right over it. And if I center pivot, I'm gonna move it up to this center line right there. So when we scale, it scales from the center. If we move it down, you can see it's right over. So looking at that, looking at this, I'd say this is a little bit bigger. And a little bit more squished. And actually, I might even want to mirror this because it looks a little bit more round here. But maybe that's just a little OCD. So let's take a look how we're doing. I don't know if it is, to be honest. So what I'm gonna do is just get rid of this. Not all that. There we go. And take this and just break it apart. Find the pivot, center the pivot. And do a 180. And I didn't duplicate it, so let's do that again. Duplicate and then 180. So there we go. Now it's like that perfect shape. It's a little bit different. I like that. It's these subtle nuances, you know. Let's combine or merge the verts. Let's go back. Grab some faces. And it's kind of down here that it gets cut off. Maybe even down there. And then let's take this piece, center pivot. I'm just gonna take this, faces, delete. And where are we at? So that's like way too big. Bring her down. Let's frame in here. And let's combine these two. And bridge. All right. So I'm gonna, I see a lot of artists, and there's a lot of great artists out there. It's humbling when I look at some artists. They're just so fantastic. It's very inspiring. But I do see a lot of kind of beginner artists, and one of the things that I see often is that they do great texturing, but their forms just aren't there completely, and so it just really takes away from the overall piece. So personally, for me, I really like to focus on the full forms and then get into the details, because it really makes a piece shine when you can kind of nail all of those. You get the right overall shapes, you can get the details in there, and then you also get the textures, and then you add that with the lighting and you got a masterpiece. So for me, it's worth it to take a little bit extra time. Some people may say, well, why are you taking so much time on that? It's worth it for me. So, and on that note, getting topology right is worth it. There's a lot of reasons why you want to get, I've heard some people, I won't mention names, but I've heard some kind of well-known people mention that topology wasn't really an important thing, and edge flow, and I just totally disagree. When you have proper topology, it really makes a difference with a lot of different things. So in texturing, in projecting, doing texture projections like normal maps and so on, animating as far as deformation, everything. Really, it really is important to get correct topology. So anyway, I digress. Let's get back to work here. But just, I think it's important to focus and get good topology. So I'm going to pull this edge out. And got kind of a rounded, something like that. Let's see how we're doing with the scale over here too. And if you look, you can kind of see from here to here, there's a line that it's an angle. And you just kind of want to think about those things. Is this, when you're trying to get proper scale and proper form, overall forms, is it roughly the same angle that's happening here? I think it's pretty close, but stuff like that. Also, how is this shape here on the right, how is this compared to this? How many times is this to equal that? I mean, this might be, if you put two of these on top of it, it might be maybe 1.5 tall. So, you know, if I was to take this piece here and separate it, or let's just duplicate it actually, and let's grab it, and if I was to place it here and then duplicate it right there and then pull it up, how many of these equal this? So that's the kind of thing I mean. And from here, it looks like it's maybe 1.5, a little bit over. And so I'd say we're pretty good. I mean, you could be super precise about this, but you just kind of want to get the general ballpark. Unless, of course, you're manufacturing something and you have specifics, but that's a whole nother subject. All right, getting back into it. So probably just, let's just close this and poke it. All right. And let's center pivot. Let's drop it down there. And you know, this looks also, this pillar here looks like it's slightly this kind of pyramid thing happening here. Looks like it's coming up a little bit more, so I'm actually gonna do that. Something like that. Maybe a little bit longer. And maybe a little bit more in too. Slightly different. Snap it down. Yeah. And just to make sure both of these are the same. I mean, see this one, this image here, it looks like it's not totally stretched out, whereas other image it did. So this is kind of, you know, ask yourself, is that what you want to do? I'm thinking about it. I kind of feel like I may... No, I think I'll keep it. All right, so we've pretty much already done that. Let's we don't really need this. If we put it right next to it, see the difference. Not bad. So let's bring this over here. And to do that, let's duplicate. And I don't really actually need to get rid of this one. I can just move this up. And kind of get rid of that. So this is the one we want. This is the one we need to adjust. Let's bring her up. Scale it in. And that's it. All right, so let's see here. Oops, I'm gonna close it. And so yeah, here's my channel, by the way. And I've got some music playing here, and so I'm using Pretzel Rocks. And so if you see any cool music, definitely support the artists. And then also, if you have any questions, I'll try to be cognizant of that and answer them. And one other thing too is that this video, all my videos, I'm trying to make it a habit of putting on my YouTube channel, which I just created. So if you don't, because the videos only last, a certain time, I think it's like 14 days on Twitch, you can go to my YouTube channel and catch the whole thing still. So that will be a way to get around the time frame. So, all right, now let's bring back OBJ here. Let's take a look here. Let's work on this backboard. And yeah, I think I'm going to show everything. So this is the kind of width and length of the bed. I think I'm gonna kind of bring this in a little bit. And actually, let's go to Unreal. I'm gonna duplicate Michael's bed, or John's bed, and let's bring it to 90 degrees here. Let's see. Still not there. All right, I think close enough. I want to see kind of how it fits in the scene at that, looking at the reference. It's interesting now that I'm looking at this, I may want to go back and adjust my wall, because the bed is the same size. It's just the perspective. But this wall is slightly large. Maybe something that's a little nitpicky. Could just do that. Oops, do that. If I can get out of here. But I'll think about it. So I actually think the length of the bed is good. So I'm going to go back to Maya and just undo that. Hide the mattress and keep it going. So next, let's do this backboard. And it looks like we're going to have to kind of guess what's going on with down here. It's probably, I'm guessing, like a, one solid kind of piece like this, so it's just going down because you need something to rest against. So let's, how should we start this? Let's just do a cube. And let's go in the front. or side. I guess I have it on the other axis. And let's create a cube. And bring it down. Let's bring back the reference. What are we doing there? Can we see that? Yeah, good. All right, so it's about there maybe. And let's start adding some edge loops. And actually, I think it's a little bit higher too. Let's see how, yeah, we're totally way too thick on this, so let's kind of narrow this out, something like that maybe. And let's go here. Right about there. I mean, if you wanted, you could add an edge loop. And I have my edge loop set to go to center, so I know that's dead center, and you could just snap to that, and then just get rid of the edge loop. Excuse me. All right, so we're centered. It's where it needs to be. And I'm going to duplicate it since we want that for the bottom as well. And then go back to this one. So 1, 2. Yeah, let's start with kind of. I'm going to do this one, this too. I'm going to bring this to Z, okay. And let's go to special, duplicate special. We're going to scale it -1 in the Z and do an instance. And so now what we do on this side is the same on the other side for the time being. All right, so edge loop. There we go, edge loop over there. And grab. Let's do another edge loop. Round it out. Yeah. Just looking kind of where this, it's kind of aligned with the top of this, like right around there. It goes higher than these points. Right. And then we can add another and another. Let's do that. Bring this back. How do I feel about that? Let's see if we can do it. No, it's not going to let me. So let's bring it out. This is not so shallow. Let's take a look at some other images. Do we have another one? No, I think that's it. Yeah. So let's take a look in 3D. Perspective viewport. Bring back the reference. Right there. And obviously this is more rounded down here, but we'll work on that soon. Let's try and get the form down here. Right. It's good. I'm going to call it good for that. And this one, and then also, I mean, we can come back to this, but I think it may need to be down a little bit more. All right. Something like this for that one. Actually, let's align this to that. All right. And I'm just gonna do a quick adjustment here on my camera. Just noticed that I recreated my camera and then it's facing the wrong way. So I'm just gonna flip it, and there we go. Cool. All right, so let's just combine all this and then mirror it. Move in Z. And then that's history, history, and duplicate, Z, face transforms. All right. Go back here. Let's take a look at the end. There's one arc here, so let's bring back the mattress and bring that over. Right. And I'm just looking at something here and noticing about John's bed. I kind of actually feel like this should be a little bit, the backboard and the headboard, or the baseboard should be slightly taller. Just looking at this, I mean, it will take some time to adjust that, but it shouldn't be too bad. I've already got the UVs created, but it kind of bothers me a little bit because I'm looking at Michael's bed and then I look at this image here and you can kind of see that the mattress is aligned with this plank here. It's almost like right at center. And then I come back to Maya. And this one is not. But I mean, these are a little bit longer also, I guess. So it's just something to think about. And these are the things that I'm constantly thinking about when I'm making this stuff. So I'm just gonna jump the gun on this, and I should actually just grab this one too. And this one. Just move it up. reference. It's a little bit higher than center. Yeah. Let me see where this bed falls on from here to here. Back to Unreal. Angle isn't bad, but I think, yeah, it needs to come up a little bit, especially on Michael's bed. So just making these slight adjustments. Oops, looks like I didn't combine both of these. Just fine. Just combine. Let's go back to the reference. Look at that one image here. So it's kind of like mattress is right there in the center almost. Go up a little bit. I think that's fine. Let's duplicate this, bring it, oh, wrong way. Bring it on over. I'm gonna save this file. You never know when Maya's gonna crash. Happens way too often. And then go back. Let's look at something here. Right. So this is just going to be one arc, and then down here, scale that down. One plank. This is not long enough. What's going on here? Did this get rotated? Let's take a look from the top view. It's interesting. Oh, I just think it didn't get, so it looks fine. I thought this got rotated here, so I want to be careful of that. It's a pain to fix these things if they've gotten far down the pipeline. And this one too. I think I messed up on that one. Let's try that again. Still don't think I got it. Right. And then reference. Back up. All right, looking at this, let's put an edge loop right in the middle. And it's not liking that. Almost looks like it's kind of skewed a little bit, but I guess it's just a perspective view. All right, new edge loop. Duplicate and special, same thing. There we go. Get rid of that window. And I'm just gonna add in a couple more. And just make this nice arc here. There we go. Right about there. Yeah, this needs to move up, but it's starting to look decent. And you know, there isn't, obviously we can't see the panels under here, but it may be helpful to have it in Marvelous Designer, to have the panels and just as a something to pin to. So I'm going to create, even though we don't see it, a panel going across here, because I'm sure there's something down there because this is hanging there. So let's separate all this. I'm just going to use this one because it's got the thickness already built into it. Let's get into 90 degrees here and start scaling. Let's go into orthographic. And right. Let's do a hide unselected, so it's a little bit easier. And there we go. Show all. And so we're now aligned with this plank there. It's looking 3D, but yeah, we're way out here. And so quickly just add a edge loop for snapping to it and center. Let's take a look in. Yeah, perfect right there. Now, oh, you know what? It's not perfect. It's on the wrong. It's supposed to be this line. There we go. Zoom out. And I think that's good. So I'm gonna move this up, right about there. Get rid of this edge here. This one as well. Anybody else? All right, cool. So yeah, I think that's Michael's bed. Let's take a quick, oh no, we forgot these cool little accenting guardrails, which are super cool. We can't see kind of what's happening here, but we can guesstimate roughly that this kind of piece here is going to be similar down here. So let's put this aside and bring up that. All right, just looking at comments. I'm trying to, if there's anybody that, you know, comments, again, I'm trying to, you know, answer any questions. Last time I missed a comment because the chat was having an issue, but I'm trying to be cognizant of that. So let's go back and there we go. Take a look at what we got. How can we create this? We're gonna duplicate this. Send it to pivot. Let's see how far it comes out. It's kind of a, I mean, there's foreshortening happening in these things. It's not really showing in these other images. It's kind of just our own guess on this one. Item selected, select snap. Show it all. Scale it. And it looks pretty aligned with this top edge right here. So I'm not going to be precise. I want it offset a little bit. I think that's good. And I'm going to scale it in a little bit. And then I might want to have it come out a little bit more. And then duplicate, bring it down. Right about there. We need room for the sheet to come out, which, to be honest, I'm not sure I'm going to put a sheet in there. I may just have one blanket and not show the sheet, but we will see. You have to just kind of use your artistic licensing on some of this stuff and just use what you know. Actually, I'm gonna, I'm gonna duplicate it, separate, center, rotate 90, and I think we just went out. Yep. So that makes it easy. I'm gonna get rid of this grid. It's just annoying. There we go. And this one is gonna, this mattress is in the way, so let's hide it. Oops, wrong tab. Save. Always want to save. All right, and then move the pivot to over here, right about there, and snapper. Okay, now, so got a little bit more space on this side, and then maybe it's the same on that side. Right. One thing is we need to combine this. So we need to get rid of these faces here. Let's bring it back. Oops, I guess I didn't have that. Transforms were not zeroed out, so let's do that again. Bring it back to 0. And let's add some geometry here. Okay, I'm gonna grab it, snap it. Grab it and snap it. All right, so let's, uh-oh. Do we lose it? Maya seems to be having an issue. Speak of the devil. All right, so it's saved. This is, I'm not sure what's happening here, but I can't unclick. So I'm gonna shut down Maya. I just saved it, and I'm not gonna save it again. And open up Maya again. This is 3D model life. Constant crashing. It's okay though. You get used to it, you learn how to go with it, try to fix your problems. Some of us like the challenge. All right, so back, what we were doing, let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay, combine it all. Merge verts. freeze transforms, clear history, get it clean. Oh yeah, and it looks like this just maybe went wonky here. Yeah. So let's fix it. There we go. Okay. Something weird going on with the shading here. I'm just gonna see if unlock and just, it's not a big deal, but it's just a weird artifact with the shading. See if that fixes it. Yeah. Okay, good. History. And let's focus now on these center cylinder portions. Cylinder. Scale it up. Let's hide unselected. Let's just do this in orthographic front view at first. Kind of have like a dome shape, it looks like, and it may be just one, but it kind of seems more fun to add in kind of a dome and then another dome and then like this torus shape. So let's do that. So let's bring in a sphere, and something that I didn't check is how many. This is usually, it's always at 20 unless you set it differently. Yeah, you know, I think 20 is fine. So, and this is going to be the same at 20 just because it's the default. Right. So this is going to be our middle shape here. And then we got this shape right here. It's kind of longer, maybe. It's almost like, kind of looks like it's squared a little bit, like a, it's like had a, it's almost a donut shape, but so let's adjust this just to get a little bit, I mean, because it's kind of boring. You just have this dome and then another dome and a sphere. You want to try to think about how you can make something unique. Slightly. Oops, one more, sorry. There we go. So what we're gonna do is take this middle lattice point here and just kind of bring it up just a tad. And maybe bring this out a little bit. Take a look at that. Yeah, it's not bad. Slightly different. I like it. So I'm gonna bring this in though. So it's kind of tapering in. Yeah, it's coming along. Orthographic. Duplicate. Bring her up. This one is kind of, it's a little faceted right here. You can kind of see it's kind of rounded and then it's like that. So it might kind of loosen it up. We can go over here and just nudge just a little bit. Kind of, it's too much maybe. Too little. Something like that maybe. Let's see if we can. Yeah. Equally, I could just scale that, but I just used the slide edge loop tool. And scale it down. Something like that. I almost feel like I want to get rid of this and bring this up. a little bit. Just too much, too many edge loops kind of crowding it. Let's see how we do with this as well. Kind of simplify. May not even need this one, so I'm just gonna see how that goes. We can add more later if we need to. All right. Yeah. Let's take a look in perspective view. Let's get to scale it in a little bit more. I want this a little bit longer, a little bit higher. Yeah. And I'm going to simplify this as well, actually. But before we do that, I'm going to connect these. Let's go. Grab some faces. So I'd say right around there. And same thing with this. Actually, let's go for this one first. And maybe right around there. Grab this one. Right around there. Okay. So now we got all these holes. And so let's take a look here. And just 1 second here, I'm going to adjust something on my Twitch. Great. So grab these and combine. And let's bridge. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move it down a little bit. Scale it up. This one, scale it in slightly. Yep. And then let's focus on this one. Save the file. Let's delete this edge loop. Bring this edge loop up, actually. Yeah, now let's simplify this. Maybe every other. See how that works out. Yeah. I think that works out pretty well. Same thing up here. So we have this. Let's get rid of this, this, that, and this. And delete. So we're good. Smooth it. Delete history. And I'm going to move the pivot. duplicate, rotate. And there it is. It's an ornamental kind of shape. It's pretty, it's nice. Let's add the cylinder. And take a look at the reference again. I think it's a little bit smaller maybe. It's interesting. I'm looking at this now too. It looks like this is kind of larger down here and smaller. This is kind of an interesting, like the diameter of this cylinder is larger than the diameter of this cylinder up here. So that's kind of a cool find and something a little bit different. I think I'm going to play off that. And so we're not totally symmetrical, and see what we can achieve. Might even just take all of this and scale it up a little bit. See how we do with that. And then take this one, duplicate, and scale it down. This looks far smaller than this. This looks quite large. So let's scale it down still. But let's put it in context and put this into the bed portion. See how we're doing. So let's show all, it's gigantic. Look at that. All right, let's combine it. Save. I'm gonna put a edge loop right there to snap. So we're center here and there. Yeah. So center at this line. Let's hide everything else. Bring this Mr. Giant down and bring it over there. So, yeah, take a look in orthographic. Orthographic is good. It's gigantic still, so let's bring it down. So we have two of these guys. Let's do an instance. And we're gonna go in X. And the cool thing about the instances is that when you create them, they don't change unless you adjust the vertices. So if you place in a different area, you can still have it in that spot, 3D space, but it won't adjust the form unless you adjust the form on the other one. So that's cool. It has its pros and cons. Let me just say that. And did I do it? I did, and it went the wrong way. Looks like I went... Oh, no, it didn't. It's just because the pivot point isn't in direct center. So, which is fine, really. At this point, I'm just going to do that and pull it out over here. Just to get an idea. So again, like if I move this around, it will stay over here, even if I move this one, which is cool. But if I adjust the vertices, for all you new folks, to 3D, then it will adjust on both of them, which is rad. All right. There we go. But probably should have waited to do that. Okay, I'm gonna save right now. And yeah. Let's go back. We're totally not even close to it. So let's do that. Grab these, let's group them, center the pivot in the group. And snap. Good lord. There we go. Grab the group again. There we go. Let's keep these additional edge loops in there for a moment, just in case. And looking at the reference. Well, we're looking the other way. This is, you know, going to the right, and this is going to the left. But get the idea. I'd say that's pretty good. Let's look at it with everything. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's turn off wireframe. I almost kind of want these a little bit bigger. I'm going to grab that. Just adjust the vertices on this. How do I feel about that? Maybe too much. That's how I feel. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, so now let's adjust this a little bit more. And we can probably, let's see here. It's not bad. How far is this going through? This one piece here. Yeah, it's okay. I don't really think we need the face on this other one here. It's just more geometry that I don't think is necessary. So I'm just going to delete it because I don't want to UV map it. I'm going to do the same thing here because dealing with the triangles on these spheres is always kind of annoying. So let's just, because I don't anticipate taking this apart and showing this to any, you know, these triangles are always going to be under there. And this is always going to be under this part here. So grab all the faces, just grab the triangles here. Same thing. Again, grab all the faces, get rid of those, and then for these as well. Let's take a look a little closer here. Just get rid of those. Dealing with those triangles. Show last hidden. And hide unselected. Grab those triangles. I don't want to UV map you. And show last hidden. Okay. Shaded mode. Good. Great. Let's come. You know what? Before I do that, let's just take these two and merge them. Combine and merge. So combine. Grab that and merge. Just make sure it all worked. Looks good. And if we want to clean this kind of artifacting happening, it's because of the smoothing and UVs, or I'm sorry, the normals. So we can lock and probably just smooth hard. There we go. Yep, looks good. All right. I almost want to shrink this down just a tad. Let's see. Let's do that with everything back. How does it read kind of from far away? I think that's better. Yeah. All right. Good. Combine it all. And you know what I should have done is just put two edge loops in here. Bring them in a little bit. And then I can something like that. Right about there is probably good enough. So I just have something to snap to while I'm working on this. And yeah. And there we go. So we kind of got a brownness happening with this. I could do that in the smooth version, but it's probably going to be too faceted, so we probably still need to bevel this edge a little bit. I'll just get rid of these now. I have everything where it needs to be. This one as well. All right, so back to this portion and kind of maybe beveling this out. Let's take a look if we just bevel these two edges and see what we get. Bevel. It's too much. Let's try 0.2. It's not bad. Let's do 2 segments and just put a point right in the middle. Now you can do triangles when doing game assets. That's just fine because everything gets triangulated anyway. However, in my experience, creating in quads is better while you're building things, because if you need to add bevels or things like that and you have a triangle, the bevel doesn't know what to do with it a lot of times. And this also goes back to one of the points I was talking about, getting topology right. It's really important to get topology right because of things like what I mentioned earlier and also what I just brought up with the beveling too. I mean, it's not always the case that this works perfect, but I mean, if I was to create a bevel and it goes beyond this point right here, it may kind of explode a little bit too, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But because we're all quads, the beveling knows what to do. I'm also going to bevel this too. I probably should have done that before I did the other one, but before I added these edges in here, but that's fine. Just say 0.1 maybe? Maybe too much. 0.05? No, I think 0.1 was okay. 0.1. Right. Yeah, so this goes back to what I was just saying. It's probably better to not put these lines in first, but whatever. Just delete them. And we'll be fine. And, you know, going back a little bit, let's go back forgot to add an additional, just go back to the bevel. Is it here? Yeah, I think it's, I'm just gonna undo that bevel too. So we got the edges here and there, not there, there and there. And do bevel, 0.1. And two segments. So this is what I need to do, is add another segment. It'll just make it a little easier in a second. So I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna get rid of that and that. Or this. And I'm not worried about the other side right now. I'm just gonna get rid of that as well. And that. And let's just grab, oops, there we go. They're gonna let me, because it doesn't have any edge loops, it may not. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Our life is going to be a lot easier now that we have this topology. When we bevel this, it's just going to flow really nicely on there. So I really don't need to do the bottom or top. I'm just going to, because this is symmetrical, I'm just going to find the center in here with one edge loop, and there it is. And I'm gonna do it there. And it's just, it doesn't know what to do because this isn't in-gone. It has more than 4 polys on here. So that's fine. We'll just take this and delete it. And then and actually enter one edge loop right here. Perfect. And so we'll get rid of this. This side? No, other side. Get rid of that side. And we'll start out by making sure the pivot is where it needs to be. I think that's right. And then we're gonna go, this is the Z. So we need to duplicate in the Z. Yep. Combine them, and then we're going to move the pivot down here, duplicate in the Y, and grab both of them, combine, go back, and we'll just bridge this stuff. Right, so nice and clean. Merge the verts so we can bridge it. And these two, and bridge. And we can fill the, well, we need to get rid of this first, or it won't connect properly. So get rid of that, and then there we go. Fill there, and there we go. So now when we bevel this, it's gonna be nice and clean all the way around. It's gonna know what to do. So, and just to show you what I'm talking about, let's bevel it. Probably don't need to do all this for the example, but you'll catch my drift in a moment. So we got it all selected, all the edges that we want to bevel. This is going to be what's going to happen for the high poly version. So we'll go to bevel and see how nice that it goes around. It's just perfectly all the way around. And so if you did, I don't know, something big, it just blows it up, you know? So that's what happens when you have triangles too on a smaller scale a lot of times. It just doesn't know how to handle the triangles, and at the point where it starts, the edge loop starts to go through and converge with a triangle from the bevel, it creates almost like a small little explosion. You have to redo the geometry, so it starts getting annoying. So if you can just kind of beat it to the punch, then you know, that's the way that I like to handle it personally. So if we smooth this now, well, of course we didn't get the edge loop on this side. We need an additional edge loop here. But yeah, we got one down here. I guess I forgot something down. I'm just gonna see. Did I forget something? Yeah, I think I forgot here. Two segments. Point, I don't know, 0.3? No, it should hold together. And there she blows. Yeah, so much nicer. That's the smooth out version. Some tension points here, but once it should be fine when we project it. But as a matter of fact, I'm just gonna copy this and then undo everything. So we're back to the low poly. This is the low poly. And then I'm just gonna paste it. So now we already have, oops, unless, hopefully that worked. Yeah, okay, good. So we have the high poly and the low poly. So that's great. We don't have to go create that again. Example and get something done. So that's good. And let's move on. And another thing that we should do is I can see over here I have the high and low res and all this other layers. I forgot to clean those up, so I'm gonna move this back first of all. It's just translations. Right. Okay, perfect. So let's show all and hide it. Hide selections. And then let's, because John's bed is the high res is still here. And this is kind of what we're going to do with this other one that I created for Michael, is just make this high res so we can project in Substance. But we're going to get rid of that. And anything else? Yes. All right. Yeah, and actually this version still has the smooth on it, I think, or let's see, does it? Copy, delete. No, it's not. Well, initially, before I started working on the scene, the history was still on it, and I like to do that because you can come in and you can, you know, if you have something, it's just delete that. So if you have something that's low res, it's hide unselected. So if you have something, it's like this, and you smooth it, and you go here, and you go smooth, or any type of additional input you put on here, you can come in and you can adjust it, obviously, but you can also go into the Mel script line and just type, and I just want to make sure that you folks can see all this. I'm going to bring it up here. And so you can just go into the mel script area here and type delete, and then you just take the name of whatever is causing, you know, your issues or you want to get rid of it, and you just take that name and delete it. And it's no longer affiliated, it's no longer smooth, it's no longer, you know, tweaked or whatnot. So that's a nice way to get rid of those inputs if you have them and didn't know how to get rid of them, for people who are new to 3D modeling. So yeah, and we still have the instancing happening on this. Let's combine it. And let's just merge all this. We're gonna start working on, did I combine it? I did, but it's not taking. There we go. Perfect. So now we're gonna start working on creating the high poly pieces. And I'm just gonna, for the sake of getting the back to look like the front, just gonna put this piece here too. Do I really need it? Maybe not, but it may be helpful again in Marvelous Designer. And I should be able to really just transfer the UVs from this one to the other. So, okay, so show all. And one thing we didn't do is create this on the other side. So let's see, which one is this? This is the high. I'm gonna hide that for now. Grab these two and combine them and move to the center. And then duplicate to -1Z. Freeze transformations. So there it is, Michael's bed. And it's not bad. I mean, we can, if we want, we can bring this, you know, it doesn't have the UV maps on it. But we could, just to see how we're doing, how we feel about it, bring it into Unreal. So let's do that. Let's say just export selected, and I'm just gonna put it on the desktop. Say okay, and you know what? I'm gonna do this with the game export because there's some features on there. It's just easier to than going through all that stuff, like making sure that it's just one single file and enter the name. That's fine. Perfect. Desktop. Choose. Okay. And let's export. Success. Let's go back to Unreal and let's get rid of this filler bed over there. Here is our FBX. I'm going to bring up this line here. I can grab it. Oops. There we go. Go to geometry. And it's just going to have some random, probably Lambert on there. Material, collision. I'm not really worried about that right now, but yeah, let's import. And Michael's bed is right here. There it is. And I'm going to set my rotations. If I can get this to work for me. There we go. 90. Does that work? One second there. Gosh darn it. Well, let's just do this. I said negative 90. All right. So yeah, and it has these funky colors on it right now. Just don't worry about that. Just throw on some default colors. And that is John's bed, or Michael's bed. So let's do some rebuilding of the lighting real quick. Mind you, there's no UVs, there's no normals, there's no textures. So it looks basic, it looks faceted. There may be some issues artifacting, but it's not bad, I mean, yeah, there's some artifacting happening because the normals and UVs are all messed up, but not bad. And if we play, get our character in here, yeah, pretty happy with that. Scale is not bad, and I kind of want to look, let's eject this scene here. Let me go back and escape and look at the kind of lineup here. So this one is lower than that one. Yeah, so yeah, I might go back and adjust John's bed and make it a little higher than Michael's bed, because the reference speaks, folks. And I want to try to be as close to the reference as possible. Might even adjust this wall here, but it's kind of a lot of work to do that, so we'll see. But I do want to, again, try to be as close to reference as possible, but it's looking good. Yeah. So some other adjustments. So far I can see that these doors that I created look great, but the specularity is just too strong. I mean, they're just too shiny. The shininess, the glossiness, and just too much. I want to tame it down a little bit, especially when you get to this door. You can see the reflection of outside, and it's just kind of overkill. So, and I just thrown some lights in the scene to kind of light things up and whatnot, but I'm not too worried about it right now. All right, so I'll save it, and we can let's start working on UV mapping this. And I'm sorry, we need to go and start smoothing some of this stuff out first too. So get the high poly model going. We already did one part of it, this railing. So that's cool. Show all. And so we have that. And I'm gonna put the high on this, the high polys on this layer here. So I'll add selected. And then let's duplicate. Or you know what? Maybe I'll just do it on this one side, and then I will come back and duplicate everything. So that's better. Okay, so grab these pieces and let's tackle this for a high poly version that we can project for a normal. Pretty smooth. Let's see how we do with that. And this one, let's combine those. Smooth. And then go to modify, I think it is. Convert. Let's tear this off. I'm gonna need to use it again. So smooth. And you know what? I didn't duplicate this. So I'm gonna duplicate and then do the smoothing. Hide that. Put it back. All right, so I'm pressing 3 to smooth, and I've combined these two. So I'm gonna smooth those. So we've got those smooth. Now this one is a little bit different because if I smooth it, it's just gonna look really doughy. And so we don't want that. We want to add some bevels in here to keep these shapes the way they are. So let's come in and also tear off this part. And let's go right about there. And start working with bevels. Let's grab here. And go to bevel. Might be too much, 0.2. And then 2, that might just work out fine. Let's take a look. Turn off wireframe. And let's bring back the reference here. Looking at this part here. It's so hard to tell, but yeah, I mean, I think that this is a little harder edge than I want here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the bevel and just change the fraction just a tad. Maybe 0.4, or I only did 0.5, but 0.5 might be fine too. I think that's fine. So now we're gonna go and go to, oh, we've already got right here, smooth and smooth mesh from the preview. So that works great. And so there you go. And we'll add that to the high as well. And then show all. Yep. And let's put this stuff, since it's already done, on the low res level. And let's come back here to the high res. And I'm going to duplicate and snap to this one here, because we need it right over here too. Sure, we snap, and there we go. And then hide. Okay, so here's the low. Oops. Uh-oh. No. I'm going to save. We're having a glitch in the matrix. And I'm going to have to quit. And I don't want to save it again because it went over there. Yeah, and then open Maya back up. All right, and just give me a minute, folks, here. Pulling up the file. Open Michael's bed. And I'm just responding to the wife real quick here. So And let's go back. And start chipping away at this stuff. So we've got this stuff, which just went wonky. And now we're back to the norm. So that's good. So that, and this can be added. Same with that. And yeah, so let's focus on smoothing out this. And let's also get rid of this edge loop. Okay, save it and duplicate it. Hide unselected. I'm going to get rid of this poke happening up here as well, which probably should on the lower res. Oops. Here. Make sure I didn't grab anything else. There we go. And then let's grab all the edges, except for this one. And we'll go to bevel. Let's pull that off again. Go to modify, convert, pull that off again. And bevel. So, oops, that's bridge. Okay, so bevel. And I'm going to say 2 segments. See how we're doing here. I like it. It's not bad. So I'm going to keep it. I almost feel like I might want to increase the segment, the fraction size. So that may be too much. But let's take a look. Yeah, that's too much. Let's say 0.6 maybe. I think I'm going to go back to 0.5. Yeah, so. All right. So I'm going to save and then go to, let's press 3 on the keyboard for smoothing. And smooth mesh preview and to polygons. So there we go. And add this to the high res objects. Show the low res. Here we go. Let's clean up that poke that we had up here. And get rid of that. All right. And show everything. So we're done with this piece because we don't need to do it on both sides. We'll just mirror everything over. And then let's take this piece. But you know what? Let's focus on, I think I did a poke on this one as well. So let's hide unselected. Just want to keep it clean. But yeah, it may not be necessary because once I UV map this, I'll probably just mirror this over actually. So yeah. All right, so this piece, if we smooth it, it's not bad actually, but I want this to be more pronounced right here. So I'm going to add a edge loop or a couple to kind of give a little bit of detail there. So I'm going to hide unselected, first duplicate, and then hide this as low res. It may already, yeah, so we're good. And then this one is our high res, and we'll add in an edge loop, but I want to not put it in center. So I'm going to open up my tool settings, go to relative distance, and then I'm kind of inset it, like kind of inset it down. Let's see if that worked. Still not, I still want a little bit more depth here. So I'm going to take these two, I'm going to bevel them and increase the fraction. 0.7 maybe, 0.8. Yeah. And kind of expand that out. We may need to adjust the other mesh, but we'll see. I don't like that. Still don't really care for it. I think because I need another edge loop here too. So it's just kind of play around with these things. Oops, not there. Looking at the silhouette here. Might want this to come out. Or maybe actually this needs to come in. That may be the answer. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll probably have to adjust my low res, which this could be my low res because I haven't smoothed it yet. And it's still pretty low res. I still am not totally happy with it. I want this to be a little bit thicker. So something like that maybe. And I'm kind of seeing like this almost like plane right here. It's not really appealing. So pull that out a little bit, move it up, kind of round this out. Down here as well. Although I think the bottom might have been better than the top. But let's try it out. Yeah, I like this. This can be the low res. So I'm gonna first history, transforms, center pivot, save, and let's move this aside and then show high res or low res again. And I'm going to delete that and then put this back and then make this the low res and put it over there. And just to make sure, show less hidden. No, it didn't work. So let's do it again. Duplicate. And it's not duplicating. Why is that? Huh, strange. Let's go back. Duplicate. And there we go. And so that's on there. So we need to remove it from the layer. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So this is my high res. So I'm gonna make sure I got it all. There we go. Now hide unselected and smooth. And I want to add another edge loop or maybe just a bevel right here. Too much. Let's do two may be good. Yeah, I think I like that. All right, so 3 and smooth mesh. So there is my high poly. Save. I'm gonna add this to high poly, show all. So we got this done. Now let's look at this kind of in context. What do I feel about that? Let's look at the reference. It almost seems like it has more substance here, like more thickness. Should have done this earlier. And looked at it in context. I'm gonna just go back. I'm just not happy with that. I want more substance to it. What do you think about that? I almost feel like this line here should come down just a tad. That looks better. All right, going back to what we're doing, duplicate, remove from the layer, and put it back here. It's not what I meant. And smooth. Add to layer. There we go. All right, so that's good. And so we're done with this. This needs to be done. I should just add this all to the low res. Let's get rid of all this. That's what we've done for high res. It's looking pretty good. So let's come back, let's do this part. And I kind of feel like I want to add a little bit more geometry in this. It's just going to be pretty faceted if I don't. So I think I'll just come on in and make sure that I'm going to the center here, start adding a couple or a few of these loops. And we can turn on symmetry for the Z, I think it is. Yeah. And so like right now, if we smooth it, it's just going to be like plain, 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 right? So we need to kind of smooth it out, round it up. And just kind of have to mess around with this stuff until I get it looking about right. And I turned on symmetry, so we're getting the same effect on the other side. However, it looks like we're missing something, and sometimes this can happen. I'm not sure why it happened, but it's not, for whatever reason, it didn't include another edge loop here. So I'll just mirror this when we're done and not worry about it. Right about there, maybe. And I think I'm gonna kind of add another, I'm gonna add a bevel here because I want it to be kind of smooth as well. I mean, I could add another edge loop, I guess. So right now it's going to the center and I don't want it to do that. This I want it to be right about there. Nice thing about the bevel is it kind of does the magic for you. It will smooth it out. So let's do a bevel. Not that much. 0.1 maybe? No, it's too low. Something like that. Let's look at the reference. Yeah, see, it's nice and flowy. So I can just go ahead and put 2 points there. Let's grab this Oops, wrong. Meant to cut. There we go. Looks like I'm missing it. There we go. Press enter. So yeah, that will help kind of smooth it out a little bit. And I, again, don't know why it didn't go correctly on this, but I'm just gonna duplicate it. Save. Make sure the pivot point is where it needs to be. And history, delete, or duplicate Z, -1. Combine vertices. Ooh, good lord. It's happening again. Right. So, good lord. I've already saved it, so we're going back. I should probably just update Maya, but I don't like to update software when I'm in the middle of projects. It just creates a lot of additional problems that you just have to solve and spend time doing, so yeah. Okay. Going to center pivot. Duplicate, scale in the Z, combine, grab the verts, merge, clear history, good to go. All right, so I think that's probably not on the low poly anymore. Yeah, so we'll put it over there though. Oops. So now it's on the low poly. And I might just do the same with this too. Did it take? Yeah, it did. You know, that could have been a issue with the grid too, why it wasn't, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to, why it wasn't showing up that I had the other edge loop on this side. So I don't like working with the grid unless I have to. I mean, it can definitely be helpful at times, but there's many times I just feel like it's in the way. This is kind of a very slight arc coming up here. I think almost looks like it's still faceted to me. And move it up a little bit more. Yeah, and duplicate Z, Save. And combine. Merge. History. Okay. So these two are good. Now let's smooth it. So I'm going to duplicate and remove, hide all that jazz, and let's just grab these edges. I have a little bit of an issue here. I'm not sure what's going on here as well. Oh, you know, there could be a vertice there still. Yeah, there is. So I need to clean that up. Get rid of that first. Yeah, sometimes if you're trying to select an edge loop by holding Shift and double clicking, if it doesn't go all the way through, it's because there could be, you've deleted an edge and there's still the vertice there. You just need to clear that out. You can simply just select it and delete it. Looks good. Back to bevel. Point 2. And smooth. Let's take a look at the reference here. It's not bad. I almost feel like this has a little bit more point to it, which I don't know if I'm super fond of it. Back. I like that a little bit better, personally. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully this works fine, but let's turn on symmetry. Oops, not that. Symmetry on the Z. Let's see if we can get that. And yeah, I kind of like that. So let's copy this since we already have the work done. And then I'm going to go to the bevel. And I'm just going to go over here and press type in the mel script line area. I'm going to type delete. And then space, poly, bevel 3. And it's gone. All right, well, you're asking where is the other one, but I copied it. So now I've got the low poly where I need it and the high poly. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of move this one out of the way, show the low poly and just delete that one. And then put this back. So we have the adjusted. But one thing that I'm just realizing too is that when you delete to the, so we do need to come back. Trying to take a shortcut there, it didn't work. So we just need to come back and adjust this, because when you smooth, or when you delete one of the inputs, it deletes the history as well. So yeah, that was a good attempt. But let's see how this works with the smooth version. So I'm gonna just kind of move this up anyway. Right around there. Maybe even up a little bit on this one too. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's good. Off for symmetry. Save. And let's take a look here. This one, the needs to be aligned with this again, so unselected. Let's grab something like this point here, maybe, just to get flush with this panel. There we go. And clear the transforms. All right, so all right, so this is the low res. We're gonna put that on the low res layer. This is the high res. We're gonna smooth that out. And put it on the high res. So show all. There we go, looking good. This one is on the high res. No, it's not, it's on the low res. Okay, good. So save and sure, I'm going to duplicate, add, and then let's take all these edges and bevel soon. Bevel options 0.3, no, 0.2. No, I'm gonna do 0.3. And then smooth. So there's the high res. Let's edit the high res. So working our way down the line here. Okay. And what's next? This one can be done. I'm going to duplicate and remove, and let's select all edges on this one. Bevel 0.3, 2 segments, save, and smooth. You know, I might increase this one. Let's see. Oh, that's not what I meant. 0.5. Okay. Yeah. Smooth it. And how do I like that? No, it's still just not that great. All right, smooth. Not too important. Let's move it to the iris. Okay, so moving along. This one. And this one. And that one. Okay, so duplicate. First of all, yeah, duplicate and then remove. And let's just do these one at a time. Oh, maybe we could do, let's try to combine them and see how that works. Since they're all just single edges on this ends. So bevel 3, 2 segments, think that's good. And then smooth it. Smooth. We're good. And we can separate that. Add to high res. Show high res. Yeah, so getting there. Just maybe a few more pieces and wrap it up here. So let's take this one and I guess technically I already have this one, but I don't want to try to bring in the file and everything, so I'm just gonna do it on this. So hide on. Let's first duplicate and remove. Work on this one first. Make sure I didn't poke it on the top, so there we go. Nothing on the bottom. Unselect that one. And bevel. 3, 2 segments. And then smooth. Oh wait, I'm not sure I pressed. Yep, okay, there we go. Smooth and add it to high res. This one as well. Bevel. Let's do something pretty small. And then more bevels, and this could be too sharp, but no, it's okay. And smooth. Okay. And then add to high. So there we go. Pretty much all done. Just need to duplicate everything to where it's supposed to be. So we can duplicate that, center the pivot. As a matter of, yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna do this one side and then we'll just mirror it on to the other side. And then should be it. So let's take these two. Put that pivot right in the middle. It's kind of hard to see. There. And then snap it to this one. So it's right over it, like that. And clear the transforms. Move it away for a second. Show everything. Low. Okay, so we're good with that. And then this piece, we can duplicate it. Grab this one. Hide unselected. And let's just move the pivot to like this edge right there. Snap it. So it's right there. Freeze transformations, make sure it's on the high, and show all. And then we have this guy to go over there, so let's do that. This one. And okay, so first of all, let's take this one, duplicate it, high poly, show low poly, grab this guy, hide unselected, move the pivot so we're just right on it. Centered. Sure, yep. Okay, so right there. And it looks good, except for these need to be changed because I only did that one, but this is fine where it's at. So I'll just have to snap the adjusted low poly to this one. But the high poly is fine where it's at. So let's delete the low poly, clear the transforms. Let's go back and show everything. Save. I'm gonna get rid of these. Put the pivot at the top there. And show all way over there. Let's do this. Right there. Cool. All right, so let's duplicate that. Let's do transforms, clear transforms. Show all. And let's see. It's the high poly. So we can just snap it over here. There we go. And hide and delete and show last hidden. Transforms. And then finally this one over here. So let's duplicate. And I mean, I was going to say I can mirror these symmetrically over, but because I didn't have to do all this other stuff, I'm just doing these few parts. If that made any sense. So transforms. This is the new one. Delete the old. Okay. And now, in theory, everything should be ready for me to mirror this other stuff over. So let's grab all this. And let's move the pivot to the Z. Oops, Z origin. And then duplicate in the Z. And freeze transform. So now we've got our high, we've got our low, and except for we forgot this part. I didn't grab that part, darn it. Okay, so let's try that again. It's fine. Just move it over. And there we go. Okay, so high poly is there. We're gonna add this to the selection. So that's all the high poly stuff. Just taking a look. If I can grab it. I'm gonna freeze transforms, delete history. We can combine it because we don't need UV maps on this for projection. So we're good with that. And the low poly will have to UV map, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I've done some UV mapping in some other live streams. So if you want to catch some of that, you can watch previous live streams, or you can on YouTube, or you can wait for the next live stream where I may do some more UV mapping if you're interested in that kind of thing. and I'm trying to list that on my YouTube channel. I try to list what it's covering in the title or the description. So if you take a look through those, it says UV mapping, then I usually go pretty in depth with that. So there's the low poly. We're looking pretty good. I'll probably go into Marvelous Designer and do the pillow and maybe make some adjustments on John's bed as well. But I think we're looking good. If everything works out right, we can just get this plopped into Unreal and start texturing. And perhaps I may do a texturing demo on this one, but I pretty much, if I look at John's bed versus, it's slightly different, a different hue basically. This is a little bit more brown. That could be because of the lighting though. Here it kind of looks the same. So it's something that I'll think about, but I may end up just using the same material on this because I've already created as a smart material that I used on John's bed. So in Substance. But anyhow, I think that is it for this live stream, and I really appreciate you folks tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this stream. And if you have any questions, I'm always here to answer them as best as I can, and I'm always open to hearing great things. And so yeah, thanks for tuning in, folks, and just have a great day, and until next time.